Well, what's up, Gamer guys? This is Brian D3 Topics Gamer, and I'm here to give you my official review for WrestleMania 41's Nights 1 and 2 that happened right here in Vegas. Surprisingly, the actual arena was actually less than like 5 miles away from where I actually work, and we were actually having a WrestleMania, like a wrestling convention at my job, so I actually happened to actually run into a number of wrestlers who weren't actually wrestling at WrestleMania, but it was just kind of nice actually getting to see them and meet them in person, so that was really fun. So that's one benefit of having WrestleMania happen in your city. So I'm just going to do a quick rundown through both Nights 1 and Night 2 and just give my overall thoughts. If you do happen to enjoy this review by the end, please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. Keep tracking on my future reviews, topics, or just general videos in general. So I'm just going to say this. Overall, if I had to give WrestleMania an overall ranking, I will probably give it like a 7 out of 10, but in a kind of odd reversal, where it was a sense where most of the matches for Night 1 were not very good, and I thought they were boring, except the main event for Night 1 was really, really awesome. But like most of the matches for Night 2 were really, really cool, except the main event really, really sucked. So if we had just switched the main events for Nights 1 and 2, you probably would have had Night 1 be one of the worst nights of WrestleMania, and Night 2 be one of the best nights of WrestleMania. So it was kind of a weird parallel. So let's start off with the first match, which was what I thought was going to be the World Heavyweight Championship match between Jey Uso and Gunther. Jey ended up winning by pretty much making Gunther tap out with his own submission hold. This is just kind of an average matchup, and I really don't see Jey getting a very long title reign. I think he's going to be a one and done. I think somewhere down the line, maybe even before SummerSlam, he'll lose the championship and then go back down to the mid-tier. I'm not sure what they do with Gunther, but to have him both lose the two WrestleManias back-to-back to Sami Zayn last year and now to Jey Uso this year, I really hope they find a way to give him some real credibility, because that kind of makes him somewhat weak. Hopefully they find a way to protect him, but yeah, I wasn't really a big fan of the ending. I mean, I'm happy Jey won, but the ending, they could have fixed it up a little bit. And this match really did show Jey's limitations, where he's definitely best suited to be as part of as a tag team. It's unfortunate to say that, but that's just what I saw. The next matchup was the World Tag Team title match with the New Day taking on the War Raiders. I did not care about this matchup at all. They should have switched the tag matches. They should have had this matchup be on Raw, and they should have had the SmackDown, like I think the WWE Championship that they're having on SmackDown in a ladder match, that should have been at WrestleMania. To add some sort of extra element would have made it better. But this matchup wasn't very impressive. I was kind of bored. The New Day ended up winning, which they should have. But now I really don't know who you have them going up against, because unless they move them to SmackDown in the draft, I don't think there's too many like faces tag teams on Raw. So I hope that ends up happening. Next, we have Jade Cargill taking on Naomi. I thought the entrances were a little unusual, but this match was just kind of whatever. I didn't really care much, but it really kind of showed Jade Cargill's limitations. Naomi was really doing a lot of the heavy lifting in this matchup, and now that I've seen this, I now really question if they should give Jade a push to get one of the world titles. I think if you're gonna go down that direction, you better start off with giving her one of the mid titles, preferably. I think either put her on Raw or SmackDown and give her like the United States Women's Championship or the Intercontinental Championship. Do that first before pushing up to World, because she needs like a lot of work. So yeah. Next, we have the United States Championship match. This was Jacob Fatu defeating LA Knight. This matchup was surprisingly probably the second best match of the night. I thought that Jacob Fatu was pretty good, and LA Knight did all right, but the proper winner was who ended up winning, which was Jacob Fatu. Hopefully he's going to have a solid run with that, and then eventually lose it thanks to, Solo, and then they'll have a feud moving forward. So this one was just kind of okay. However, this surprise matchup that I didn't actually expect to enjoy as much as I did was actually the El Grande Americano versus Rey Fenix matchup. I'm surprised they were able to pull this together at so short notice. I'm really liking what I'm seeing from El Grande. He had some impressive movesets that I really didn't know that. We all know that it's Chad Gable. I did not know he could do a lot of these things. So I will say this was definitely the surprise of Night 1. So I'll give it that. Next, we have the WWE Women's Championship match with Tiffany Stratton taking on Charlotte Flair. This was kind of whatever. I'm happy that Tiffany still has it. But I think Charlotte's kind of going down on the decline at this point. I mean, maybe they'll give her one or two more World Championship reigns somewhere down the line, but Overall, it was just kind of whatever. However, the main event, which was the triple threat between Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and CM Punk, this was fantastic. This was easily the best match between both nights. No question. There was a number of really kind of funky storylines that were going in. I liked how it all played out. Each man worked incredibly well with the other. There was a good amount of back and forth. And even though it was somewhat predictable, I predicted that Seth would come out the winner with Paul Heyman turning on both Roman Reigns and CM Punk. Even if it's predictable, that doesn't mean it still isn't great to see. I mean, if you go into an Avengers movie, you know that eventually they're going to end up winning. But even if you know what's going to happen, the fact that you saw it happen doesn't take away from how awesome it was. So I really did appreciate this. This match was absolutely phenomenal. And just seeing what they did on the following Raw after WrestleMania, I think that storyline is definitely in a very, very good place. So overall, I think that night one, for the most part, was just kind of boring. There were like a few matches I thought I was actually quite entertaining with. But overall, it did have an excellent, it was saved barely thanks to the main event of night one. So now that we go into night two, we have the triple threat for the Women's World Championship between Io Sky, Bianca Belair, and Rhea Ripley. This tore the house down. This easily could have main event. This was easily the second best matchup of between both nights. These women really tore it up. This easily could have main event one of the nights. Like the fact that it was a championship matchup, I would not have had any problem had it like main event at night two somehow. It likely wouldn't have happened, but yeah, I was surprised that Io Scott came out the winner. I was really sure Bianca Belair was going to win. The fact that she was added in, kind of like maybe not added in because she did win the Elimination Chamber and she's a SmackDown person going for a Raw title. I really thought that with the draft coming soon, she would be switching shows, but no. We had seen an Io versus Ripley matchup before, so I'm guessing they added Bianca Belair just to kind of add an extra element, and it absolutely worked. This matchup was absolutely fantastic. This is absolutely a matchup that I'm going to go back and watch a couple more times because it was fantastic. Next, we had the sinister street fight between Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest. I absolutely loved Drew McIntyre's entrance. That was, without question, my favorite entrance of both nights. He came out dressed as Doomslayer. And I was absolutely pumped up for that because Doom, The Dark Ages, is my most anticipated game of this year. It comes out next month. I'm going to probably take an entire week off just to play it. I was really excited. His outfit and entrance was absolutely awesome. And I also liked Damian Priest's entrance where he had the player for Slayer to kind of play his music as he came out. So this matchup had two great entrances, and as a street fight, this absolutely worked. These two came out looking out really, really well. There were a lot of major cool spots, good back and forth. These guys worked incredibly well together. And Drew McIntyre came out the winner with a pretty convincing ending with him giving him a Claymore on a chair that was kind of planted there. And it actually led up before that. Damian Priest got sent off of the ropes through two tables. And he's a big guy, so you don't expect someone of that size to take a bump like that. But the fact that he did that was absolutely impressive. So yeah, so far, the night two was just going absolutely phenomenal. But yeah, the street fight was incredible. Next, we had the Fatal 4-Way Intercontinental Championship. Another banger. These guys are 3 for 3 at this point. This matchup was great. Everyone had amazing spots. Everyone had a great moment to control the matchup. And Dominic Mysterio actually ended up winning. I had hoped that Braun Breaker would retain because I really didn't feel that you needed the belt in order to cause kind of disarray between Finn and Dominic, but heck, I'm happy that he actually got the championship, and even seeing what happened on Monday Night Raw afterwards, I absolutely support this decision. I'm curious what they're going to do with his reign, whether he'll be like an active champion, or if he's going to be kind of how he was when he had like the NXT championship, where he's only holding the title because he's having a lot of help. So I'm curious where that's going to go, but yeah, this match was also phenomenal. Next, we had Randy Orton taking on his mystery opponent, and because Kevin Owens went out, we ended up getting Joe Hendry. This was a squash match, but it was nice that Joe Hendry got his WrestleMania moment. He had a major pop at Royal Rumble, and I had a major pop here at WrestleMania. It was kind of short. Some say that they only used this to kind of bury TNA, but I don't think that at all. I would not be surprised if somewhere down the line, Joe Hendry would actually be moved up and somehow find his way on one of the main roster shows like SmackDown or Raw. I would not be surprised if that happens like in the next year or two, because yeah, I just think he's a big crowd pleaser. However, going on to the only real match that I really wasn't too interested, and that was the Logan Paul versus AJ Styles matchup. I mean, overall, it was okay, but it had the same sort of stupid ending that you would expect from Logan Paul matchups, where he has someone come in and have like some outside interference, and AJ Styles ended up losing. I didn't want him to lose because I feel down the road they're gonna put him in a feud with Cena, and if his last match is to lose to Logan Paul, I think that just takes away a lot of credibility. So I'm not sure if down the road they'll give AJ Styles a shot at Cena. But I thought the match was just okay. I just really hated the ending. Next, we had the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship, where they had Lyra Valkyria teaming up with the returning Becky, which we all kind of expected, and they happened to defeat Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. They ended up winning the championships for no real reason because of what happened on Raw the next night. But this match was also just kind of whatever, and I'm wondering, like, why did they take Bayley out? Like, there could have been a storyline there where, like, Becky took, like, her place, but then it turned out that it essentially would have been like the same plot that we had with the whole Jade and Naomi plot, where it was like Naomi took Jade out to take her spot to get the titles, and then down the road, Jade came back and then kicked Naomi's ass. I thought they were just repeating that just with Becky and Bayley, which that could have been fun, but no, they didn't go down that route, and something else happened on Monday Night Raw the next night. But this match was also just kind of whatever. It wasn't bad, but it was just kind of like, you know, I guess it's slightly better than the other tag team match that they had in night one, but it wasn't by much. And then we had the last match for the Undisputed WWE Championship with Cody Rhodes taking on John Cena. This was average for most part. It was really, really slow, and I understand that John Cena is a lot older, so he can't put on the kind of matches you would expect, and he was definitely kind of doing things kind of a lot slower, carrying that heel vibe. But this matchup got really, really boring, and it was really, really slow. And that isn't necessarily a bad thing, because a lot of these matchups where you know some things are going to happen at the end typically start out slow. Like if you go back and watch that last matchup last year on night 2 of WrestleMania 40, Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns. That matchup all started out slow too, and then it built up. So that was what I was expecting. And then the shenanigans part happened, and then Travis Scott came out, and I'm thinking, okay, well, he's here. Obviously, The Rock's got to be here. Did he show up? No. And the ending was stupid. I mean, I'm happy John Cena got his 17th title. I'm excited to see how his run as a heel champion is going to be, but they screwed up this ending so bad. And the one thing you don't want to screw up with anything, whether it's a book, a movie, or a match, you don't want to screw up the ending. It leaves a bad taste in people's mouths, and I felt the same way. I mean, and then when you find out exactly why The Rock wasn't there to begin with, it pissed me off even more. Yeah. I mean, all I can see from this is maybe down the road, this could be the catalyst of perhaps a Cody heel turn when he comes back. Like, he'll be like, well, I only lost because I let down my guard. Well, this is what being a good guy got me. I'm going to be a bad guy now and be more ruthless, and that'll help me get my title back. Like, that's where I could see it going. And so there might be a small catalyst where, like, Cody turns heel and then somehow Cena becomes a face again and then tries to pull Cody back from the dark side after he got out from the dark side. So it's a mess. It's really going to determine what's going to happen over the next, like, six to 8 months of Cena's title reign to see if this mess can be fixed. But overall, it was not a very great matchup. I'll say this. This was probably the worst, like, final match of night 2 that they've had up to this point since they started doing the 1 night, 2 night style of WrestleManias. I mean, there are so many matches I would have cut here. I'm like, you could cut like a number of these matches, and you could have all done this in like one solid night. So overall, had they just switched the main events for both night 1 and night 2, if they just swapped shows, you would have had night 1 be like one of the worst nights of WrestleMania, and night 2 be one of the best nights of WrestleMania. But overall, I would have given the overall night like a 7, and I damn sure am happy that I didn't pay to go those absurd prices to go see this live. I feel bad for people who paid as high as they did, because those ticket prices were ridiculous. So that was my overall thoughts on WrestleMania. I love to hear your guys' thoughts. What did you guys think of some of the endings of these matchups, and where you think some of the storylines will go? Let me know in the comments down below, and I will be sure to see you guys in my next video. So thank you guys for watching, and I'm out.